What's up, everyone? This is Jackson, and welcome to Jackson the Podcast. Today, we will continue our Thai consonant cluster. We have two more to go, and that is the false consonant and the implicit vowel. Again, this is a video episode. If you want the best learning experience, please check out the video version. But don't worry, I will also keep the audio version and put it on the podcast. So if you want to keep listening to the podcast, please do it. Without further ado, let's begin. A quick recap. Last time, the last episode, we talked about what is a consonant cluster. We have four words to illustrate it. And then we have a gliding cluster where we have two sets of Thai consonants for then you can come up with some combination, and that combination will fall into this category. We do some example, two words, and in these example I also told you how to find out the tone, because we have a tone rule for consonant cluster. And then I taught you how to write the tone mark, which is to write, and that is to write the tone mark in the second consonant. Then we move on to the second category of consonant cluster, and that is the leading hor hip and leading or ang. We use the same rule, same logic, but at that time I also show you another interpretation of leading hor hip, and that is in order to access to some tone, we need to change the class, and that is why we have a leading hor hip or leading or ang. Now, let's begin with our main dish, and that is false cluster. False cluster. Here, I showed you the combination, and again, I just take it from the website. So we have จอจางโซโซ ทอทหาร สอเสือ สอสารา and รอเรือ. And the second row will be just รอเรือ. Any combination from this table would be the false cluster. So what is false cluster? The logic is very similar to leading hor hip and leading or where we don't need to pronounce the รอเรือ. But we have two types of false cluster. Sorry about that. I didn't mention it in the introduction. But we have two types. The first type is just just ignore the รอเรือ. The second type would be that รอเรือ will change the sound of the consonant cluster. So let's take a look at the first type. False consonant type 1. We break it down into consonant cluster, vowel, final consonant, and the tone mark. And we just work on these components one by one. First one, consonant cluster. สอเสือ plus รอเรือ. Because this is a false consonant, we don't need to pronounce the R sound. Now, so we have we plus the vowel สระอา sa. We plus the final consonant, which is งองู ng sound sang. Then to find out the tone of this syllable, we use the same rule. Use the first consonant to find out the tone class. สอเสือ is high class. We have the tone mark, so we put we look at the tone rule chart. High class plus this tone mark gives us a falling sound. Yeah, falling. So sa sang plus falling sang sang. Make sure I'm correct. Yeah, final sound sang. So this is one of the example of type 1. Type 2. Type 2 would be the law lure will change the sound of the consonant cluster. Example, first word. Again, we break it down into 3 components: consonant cluster, vowel, and the final consonant. This is Bo Bai Mai. Okay. So ททหาร law refers to T plus R combination. And then Bo Bai Mai as a final consonant, we have a B or P stop. P stop. So what do you mean P stop? Let's say cap. C-A-P. Cap. Cap. In English, when we pronounce the P, we let the air out. But in Thai, we don't let the air out. We just stop at the mouth. Stop at where we want to let the air out. We just stop at that moment. Cap. Cap. In English, we might say cap. Cap. But in Thai, cap. So that's the idea of P or B stop, because if you change, let's say this word, T-A-B, tab, tab, the shape, the mechanism is the same. So that is the B stop or P stop. So that's why we have 2 options, but they refer to the same thing. Type 2, false consonant. Sorry about that, sidetrack a little bit. And if we use the logic of the false consonant type 1, it should be top, top, top. But actually, it is not T. It is not T. It is S. So this whole thing is we need to pronounce S sound. So it should be sob. Yes, sob, sob. Why falling sound? Let's break it down. So we have ททหาร low class. We have dead ending plus long vowel. So we low class, dead ending plus long vowel will give us falling sound. If you don't believe me, check out the tone rule chart. Sob, sob. Mind blowing. The second one, this time the consonant cluster is at the end of the syllable. So let's break this down. So this word is a little bit special because it includes 2 types of consonant, 2 types of cluster. The first one is the implicit vowel, and the second one is this one, the false cluster. So just disregard the implicit vowel here. We just focus on the false consonant, the false cluster. So let's break it down this way. We have the first set, and then we have a vowel, and we have this thing. In false consonant, in false consonant cluster, we don't need to pronounce the but because it is a um, because it is a false consonant, and then we don't need to pronounce the law. That's why the sound in this case is T stop. Is T stop. Um, Actually, I should not put it in type 2 because still we pronounce the T, which is Totahan, because Totahan refers to the T sound and we pronounce the T sound, so it should not be the type 2. That's my mistake. But here I show you when it's at the end of the syllable. That's how we break it down. We still use the same logic, but the thing is that we don't use that to determine our tone of the syllable. To do that, we need to learn the last category of the consonant cluster, which is the implicit vowel. But here I just show you that when it is at the end of the syllable, ignore the lolu and pronounce the sound of the first consonant. Make sure I am correct. Yeah. Next one, the last category, which is implicit vowel. Implicit vowel, we have two types. First type is the difference of type denotes the tone rule for consonant clustered. So type 1, we use the same rule, and that's that the first consonant determines the tone. But in type 2, we use the second consonant to find out the tone of the syllable. Implicit vowel literally tells you that we have a implicit vowel here. First example. Here we break down this way. When do we know it is a implicit vowel? And that is when, if we take a look of the consonant cluster, in this case, 所 se plus no nu, if we put together in Thai, we cannot make a gliding sound, or we cannot omit the sound by using by following the rule of the false consonant. Then we will use the logic in the last category, implicit vowel, and that is to make a sound. But you will ask, oh man, if 所 se refers to s, no nu refers to n in English, we can make a sound smoothly. We can make a gliding sound. Snow, for example, snow, snow. But in Thai, why we can do a gliding sound? I don't know. This language, you gotta accept it. Here, we gotta use implicit vowel. So let me just tell you how to pronounce this word. Sanam, not snam. If we used gliding cluster, it would be snam. But actually, it is an implicit vowel at that sanam. So here you can hear two syllables. The first one, sa. The second one, nam. Sanam. As if we add a sala after the 所 se. So it's like this one. Sanam, the sound. Okay? So that's the implicit vowel, where we add a sound, add a vowel after the first consonant to make a sound. Implicit vowel, sanam. So let's break down this thing. Break down tone. Now, first syllable, sa. Sa is that and short dead ending, short vowel. 锁舌 is high class, so we have a low tone. Now, the second one, we use the same rule. This is type 1. We use the tone is determined by 锁舌, not 诺奴. Very important here. Very important here. The tone is determined by 锁舌, not 诺奴. So we have a live ending because we have 诺奴at the end. We can make the sound longer, so it's a live. High class, live ending, rising tone. So it is nam, not nam. If tone is we use 诺奴 to find out the tone, then it will be mid sound. But if now we need to use 锁舌, which is high class, to find out the tone, which gives us rising tone. Sanam, low rising, Sanam, sanam. I think I will not cover the second one. Let's jump right to the third example. This is a little bit tricky here because it is a compound vowel, but we'll still follow the same procedure to break down the word into small chunks. First of all, consonant cluster, we have a vowel which is la ia, we have a final consonant ngo ngu. Here, 楚请 ch lo ling l. Can we put together? Can we make a gliding sound? Now it is obviously impossible. You cannot. If we want to force it to blend together, we must add a sound. Chla. We cannot glide smoothly. We cannot transition from ch to l without adding a sound. Chla. So here we have the sound is like we add a sala after 楚请. Cha. 楚请 is high class. We add a short dead ending sound. We have low tone. Cha. Then second one, l plus vowel ia, lia plus final consonant liang. Now the tone is we use 楚请 not 罗令 to find out the tone. 楚请 is high class. We have live ending because 我我 live ending, high class, rising sound. 茶凉 I know it's complicated, but you still gotta learn it. 茶凉. So this is type 1. Type 2 would be the difference. The tone rule is a little bit different from type 1. But when do we use type 1? When do we use type 2? Here's the rule. We take a look of the consonant cluster, and then we look at the second one. If the second consonant is a I need to show you the website. I need to show you that website. So there is a definition of type 2 here. The second consonant, the spoken tone is determined by the second consonant in the cluster if the second consonant is not a sonorant. What is sonorant? Sonorant means the consonant where you can make the sound longer. For example, we have the list here. Here. if the second syllable appears here in this row, then we use type 1. Otherwise, we use type 2. What makes these consonants special is that we can make the sound longer. For example, ngongu, we can elongate the sound. Nonu, N sound. Moma, M sound. Yoya, Y sound. Y. Lo, L, L, Lo, Ling, L. Something like that. If I give you to tao, D sound, can you make D longer? No, because it is a. Once you will let the air out, you can make the sound. The. See? No sound. So that's how you figure out whether it is a type 1 or type 2, or figure out whether it is a sonorant or not. Just by making the sound and see which one it falls into. So if it's type 2, we use another rule. So here, example. Consonant cluster, 所舍 plus lo de d. Because we cannot blend S and D together, we must add a sound, s. So which is low sound. Ngongu. The tone, we just need to use lo de to find out the tone, not 所舍 because it is type 2. Lo de mid class life ending gives you mid sound. Dang, dang. D, the, de, ngongu, dang, dang. We plus the first syllable. Sadang, sadang, sadang. That's how we find out the sound. Now, here, you may have some questions. I also have these questions. The question is, which type of the cluster category does it belong to? Let's say we have 托特罕 plus 羅勒. No, let's say 所舍 plus 諾奴. 所舍 plus 諾奴. Is it a gliding cluster or implicit vowel? See, is it a gliding cluster or implicit vowel? Both make sense because 所舍 plus 諾奴 is S plus N. S plus N. In English, we have a gliding sound. Snow, sneak, something like that. Sneaker, right? We can make a gliding sound. But you can also use the implicit vowel sanom, yeah, or sanam. So which one? But of course, in this case, also plus no, I've told you that we in Thai we cannot, or we don't have a sn sound. We gotta use implicit vowel. But for other combination, you might have the same question: is it gliding or implicit? Or another example: 托特罕 plus 羅勒. Is it false consonant? Is it a false cluster or implicit vowel? Both make sense. For false, you just omit the 羅勒 and pronounce the 托特罕. Depends with which type. If type 1, we just t. If type 2, we may have some other sounds like this. 托特罕 plus 羅勒 gives us S sound. It depends. If it is an implicit vowel, we might need to add a vowel after 托特罕. Let's say t plus 羅勒 and the sound after that. We don't know. I have the same question. And I cannot get the answer, to be honest. But maybe it's because I I haven't studied enough, deep enough to get the answer. But I would say this. The key message is the key message of this series, especially the Thai consonant clusters. The key message is to introduce you that we have these with this stuff, with four types of consonant cluster. The message is to introduce you this thing. We don't, because we don't know what we don't know. Let's say if with study we have seen this thing, then later on in the future when you want to when you study a word, you look up the dictionary and find out the pronunciation, then you see there, let's say it is a false consonant. If you haven't studied or haven't seen there is a thing called false consonant, you will be like, whoa, why you will be confused. You'll be confused because you don't know there's a thing called false consonant. But if you have watched this episode or watched any episode in on the internet about this category, then you know it is a false consonant. Then you'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense because it's a false consonant. So the key message is you know where to find the answer. You know where to find the answer. When it's a implicit consonant, then you'll be like, okay, I this is where I need to look up the answer, or this is where I need to find out this where the details is. That's the message. That is to introduce you the thing, not to answer which category that it belongs to. Is not this case. So that's the end of Thai consonant clusters, and I hope you enjoy it. It is a long episode, I know. I hope you enjoy it. This is Jackson in Jackson Podcast, and then see you in the next episode. Out.